It is now my sincere pleasure to introduce and honor Marc Onetto. Marc personifies the qualities that define the Tepper School Alumni Achievement Award. Both his exceptional professional career and his commitment to service uphold the highest values of Carnegie Mellon and the Tepper School of Business. A native of France and an engineering graduate of École Centrale de Lyon, Marc graduated from GSIA, now the Tepper School, in 1975. He has been a trailblazer in the field of operations by helping pioneer the Lean and Six Sigma systems that revolutionized the manufacturing industry. Likewise, he led the operations team at Amazon, the largest e-tailer in the world, with one of the most complex supply chain systems to new heights. Most recently, Marc served as Senior Vice President of Worldwide Operations at Amazon, and it was from January 2007 until his retirement in early 2013. During his tenure at Amazon, Marc established himself as one of the foremost authorities on supply chain management, operations, and customer service. Marc also spent 15 years at GE, where he held several senior leadership positions at GE Medical Systems and GE's European operations, including head of its global supply chain and operations, global quality, and global process engineering. He was one of GE's Six Sigma pioneers and spearheaded the quality culture transformation across GE Medical Systems. In addition to working at Amazon and General Electric, Marc also spent time as Executive Vice President of Worldwide Operations for Selectron, now Flextronics, which is a $10 billion global provider of electronics manufacturing and integrated supply chain services to OEMs. In this role, Marc led the company turnaround and was the inspiration behind the creation of the Selectron production system, the most advanced application of Lean and Six Sigma to electronics manufacturing. In addition, Marc also served 12 years with Exxon Corporation in supply operations, information systems, product trading, and finance. During that time, he worked in France, the UK, and Greece. Marc has had an incredibly distinguished career. He's served as the top operations executive for two of the most renowned business leaders of our time, GE's Jack Welch and Amazon's Jeff Bezos. He's also revolutionized the way the Western world thinks about lean manufacturing with his made next to the consumer theory. This concept, applied while Marc was at Amazon, GE, and Selectron, provides a solution to eliminating waste in the production and supply chain cycles, thereby reducing manufacturing costs. With reduced costs, companies are able to make products next to the consumer in the same country as their primary customers, an outcome that not only helps secure the future of manufacturing in the Western world, but also allows low-cost manufacturing nations such as China to thrive in their own local economies. Marc is a Chevalier de l'Ordre National du Mérite, a French decoration that recognizes his contribution to Franco-American friendship and business collaboration. Since 2013, Marc has worked with executive teams on how to deliver excellence to customers with lean leadership through his consulting company, Leadership from the Mind and Heart. As a passionate alumnus, Marc has been an incredibly active supporter of the Tepper School, serving on the Dean's Business Board of Advisors since 2007. He has also been a speaker at numerous events for alumni, students, staff, and faculty, including hosting our annual summer welcome reception in Seattle for our summer interns and new graduates. Marc has given over $1 million to support MBA fellowships for European students at the Tepper School and has also made a generous commitment to the new Tepper School building in the Tepper Quad. Marc has also encouraged Amazon's recruiting and research relationships with the Tepper School and other colleges at Carnegie Mellon. Under Marc's leadership, with his fellow alumnus, Brian Olshavsky, Amazon has emerged as the Tepper School's top recruiter, as well as one of Carnegie Mellon's top recruiters in recent years. There are approximately 150 CMU alumni on record at Amazon. Today, we are delighted to honor Marc as the Tepper School Alumni Achievement Award, our highest recognition for his outstanding career achievement and his invaluable contributions to the Tepper School of Business. Marc?
Thank you, Lori. Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you to the alumni community for recognizing me. And of course, and above all, thank you to my wife who is here with me, and without whom I would not have achieved what I've achieved. She kept me on my toes all my life. So dear, this award is really for you. Well, you see, the problem with the last award is that you get the old guys. And I'm really one of the old guys. So I guess the same period for me here was 1973, which, if I calculate rightly, is 41 years ago. I want to tell you just an impression of how old is that, and how far away. So the school was already a very quantitative school, so I had to buy a calculator. Because before that, I used a sliding rule. See how old I am. Nobody knows. None of you knows how that works. So I bought a calculator, and it was a Texas Instrument SR10. It sold for $150, which was an amazing amount of money because that was half of my monthly budget. And it was an incredible piece of equipment. It could do plus, minus, multiply, divide, and wait, it could even do square root. And of course, that's what I used to have in my pocket at the time, barely because it's quite big, and now I have this. And it does a little more than square root. You see, in 41 years, what happened to the world? And the incredible change that I lived through in my life and my career. And one of the things that made me able to face this and succeed in this incredible period of change is what I learned here. And I want to tell you and share with you 4 major fundamentals of what I learned here, and which I believe are still valid today to prepare you for the next 41 years of change that you, arriving here at school or being in second year, you're going to face. And I have no doubt that the speed of change will not slow down. In fact, I think it will accelerate. And therefore, what you will have to face is much more than what I did between the Texas Instrument SR10 and my smartphone. But you will learn here 4 fundamentals that will help you to manage your career throughout this exciting change. The first thing I learned here, which was a reinforcement, of course, of what my parents had told me, but it was very well expressed in terms of the business side of this, is integrity. It taught me that we're going to do business, we're going to succeed, but we're going to do it according to the rules of the game. And we had wonderful teachers that absolutely put this into our mind, and I want you to remember exactly the same thing. This is the number one thing. Stay honest. Don't cheat. There is no gray zone. There is only white and black. As soon as it's gray, it's black. And in business, you have to face that. There was several times in my life where I had to make some very tough business decisions that we were not going to grow a business or do something because there was no way to do it in a clean way. So that's the number one thing that I believe you need to remember from what you're going to learn in the next 2 years at Carnegie Mellon. The second thing I learned the hard way was global teamwork. You see, when I came here, I was a pretty arrogant French young man. In fact, you know, we French are very arrogant. And I was one of them. Absolutely no doubt. I thought that France was the center of the world. I thought, of course, the food was the best. That I haven't changed too much, right? But what I learned to do was to work with people very different from me. People from all over the world, people from all over the United States, and of course, people from different ethnicity. And this was a tough lesson at the beginning, and then a lesson that I remembered all my life after. And thanks God I learned that, because in my career, of course, as I lived through a world that was opening, becoming much more flat, much more communication, I worked, if I count, I think I had people in about 32 countries. I've worked in South America, in Asia, in Europe, of course, in the United States, in Australia, and of course, with the opening of China, which is certainly one of the major things that happened in the 40 years of my life as a career, I had the opportunity to work a lot in China and India. And those really, the things I learned here to respect, to understand other cultures was super useful for me and helped me succeed. Well, now I'm going to be a little more academical, okay? Because we are Carnegie Mellon. We don't do speech, we do numbers. So what I learned here, I learned accounting. Now, that's a boring subject. But in fact, it is an exciting subject, and it's so important. It's the way we keep the score. And if you want to play the game, and you want to play the game honestly, you better understand how we keep the score. And I believe that some of the major business failures recently have been done due to people that went to the wrong schools and didn't learn accounting. And they didn't know what they were doing. They could not measure risk, they could not measure liabilities, and they were living in a world of they forgot how to keep the score. And one of the things that was taught to me here was accounting and financial analysis accounting, which has been extremely useful for me. As Laurie said, I'm one of the knuckle draggers. I'm a manufacturing guy. But I was one of the rare manufacturing guys who used to put T account on his whiteboard. When people tried to confuse me, I said, okay, slow down now. Tell me again what we're going to do here in T accounts. So please learn your T accounts. It will help you to manage change all over your life. And as Laurie heard, I went from the oil industry to medical electronics to GE as a whole, and then to electronic manufacturing, and at the end to e-commerce. So I did change a lot the industries, but the way to keep the score is the same everywhere. And finally, of course, what I learned here is the quantitative approach to business. That analytics count, that stop making words, try to understand as an equation of what's going on. And that has been clearly at the heart of my success and my achievements, and particularly, of course, my last job. As Laurie said, I joined Amazon 7 years ago, so I was an old guy. I was 56 years old when I joined Amazon, which in Amazon is like an ancestor, right? I mean, they can't even believe you're alive, right? It's most of the kids are 32 years old, they are 30 years old, right? And my boss was 40 years old, Jeff. And so I was the old guy, and they're all very, very smart young people. And I was not completely obsolete. I could reason with these people, I could challenge them, I could lead them because of what I learned here, because I learned here the quantitative approach to business. And so I got a really good news for you. As you know, we have a reputation to be a bit of a quantitative school. In fact, some of our competitors would call us a geek school. Well, I got a good news for you guys. Okay? In the last 10 years of my life of the 41 years, I realized that the geeks are now ruling the world. And from what I see in terms of innovation and the progress ahead of us, I believe the geeks are going to rule the world for a while. And you are going to be amongst the people that can do this because you will know how to manage business in a quantitative way. So I want to tell you that you're going to have an exciting 41 years or 50 years ahead of you, but what you're going to learn here is going to be instrumental in your own success. So I wish you the best of success in your life. Thank you.